It's good to be on tonight. Yes, thank you so much for inviting me to come on and to speak. Yes, it's been, a long, long journey. It's been a rough battle. It's been a tough battle, but with God's healing and strength, I overcame it. Yes, it was totally, a struggle for me. But I want to thank you guys so much for inviting me to come on and to speak. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Well, hello, everyone. As my bio says, I am a girl with many hats. All right. But, it's a calling that God has placed over my life. It's a calling that God has placed over my life to do. And yes, this year I'm celebrating 21 years of being sober for mental health illness. It was a tough battle. I went through a whole lot with this battle. And plus, I was also a girl that was struggling, with the speech problem, with a learning disability. All right. But I realized that I had to encourage myself. I had to keep on speaking positive things over myself. All right. Even though, I might be facing rejection, even though I might be going through some negativity moments right now, but I have to realize that every morning when I wake up and when I look myself in the mirror, I have to encourage myself that I am more than a conqueror. I am the head and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath. I am victorious. I am a winner. I am a champion. I am the child of the Most High God. I got to realize that I got to focus on making Ashley happy. I got to make sure that I got to keep on loving Ashley for Ashley. I got to keep on knowing my worth. I got to keep on being the best Ashley. I got to keep on focus on being the anointed woman of God that God has called me to be. And so a little update. I just released 2 more books. All right, so 2 more books is back out. And plus, I'm getting back into doing music. So this is my big comeback of doing music. I just released my brand new music single, Girl to Woman. All right. It's about, showing the world and tell everybody how I am growing, how Ashley's growing up to be a woman, and how she's focusing on being the anointed woman of God that God has called her to be, and focusing on, encouraging people that do not be afraid to be yourself. Do not be afraid, to focus on being the anointed woman of God that God has called you to be, because God has called you. God has chosen you. All right, God has called you and chose you to put your testimonies out there, to keep on putting your stories out there. All right, to make sure that everybody can be inspired, so everybody can be encouraged, so everybody can be, motivated, and so they can be encouraged, so they continue to focus on being successful and focus on getting their dreams and their goals out there, and keep on being their business out there, and keep on focus on being the anointed woman of God that God has called them to be. So I really want to update the topic. I want to talk about the chains are being broken. The chains are breaking. The chains are breaking. And when we look at Isaiah chapter 10, verse 27, it says that the anointing of the Lord destroys every yoke. I love that song by the amazing Tasha Cobbs Leonard, that there's power in the name of Jesus to break every chain. And how many of y'all believe and receive that on tonight? That there is power in the name of Jesus to break every chain. I'm talking about every chain that has been holding you bondage, every chain that has been holding you captured, every chain that has been holding you trapped. Already it's going to be broken. Because if you also look in Isaiah 54, verse 17, it says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And every negative tongue, every negative words, every negative thing that the bullies, the devil, and the naysayers has been saying about you, you're going to refute it. Because you got to understand that God sees the best in you. God sees the great in you. All right, that's exactly what I was dealing with while going through this 21-year battle of mental health illness. Yes, I was bullied a lot. I was teased a lot. I was going through so much negativity. And sometimes I question, because yes, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York, and sometimes I question why would God move me, all right, from Brooklyn, New York, to reside here in Westchester County in Ellsworth, New York, and I'm going through so many problems. I'm going through so many issues. I'm going through so many trials and tribulations. Now I'm dealing with this battle. I'm going through this learning disability, and now I'm getting rejected and getting pushed away because of it. But I realize now that God is using me. God is using me, all right, to get my testimony out there, to get my story out there. And so other people can be encouraged that no matter what battle or addiction that you go through, you will be successful. You will win. You will be successful. Your dreams and your goals, all right, will be successful, because God is shifting you. A greater shift that's about to happen. God is shifting you into a greater position. I'm talking about open doors, open opportunities about to happen for you. All right, so do not let no learning disability, do not let no trials and no tribulations or no obstacles or no struggles stop you from being the successful woman that you are, or stop you from making your business successful, making your dreams and your goals successful, or making your ministry successful. See, now back in March, I just accept my call to preach. All right, so now I'm becoming a minister in training now. Now I'm working on becoming a minister. All right, now. All right, I didn't know that God was using me for that. I have no idea because I was going through so much negativity. All right, that I just forgot about all of that. I just forgot about, about loving myself. I forgot about, showing myself self-love, showing myself self-care, showing myself some self-empowerment because I was so busy focusing on, all right, doing things to fit in the crowd. All right, doing everything, to please, the bullies and naysayers and, stuff like that. But I got to realize that. And I learned this. All right, rejection is going to come no matter what. All right, now everybody's not going to like you. Now everybody's not going to support you. All right, okay, now everybody's not going to be with you. But you got to understand that God sees the best in you. God sees the great in you. All right, God sees the great in you. God sees what's inside of you. All right, don't pay attention to the negative comments. All right, let the bullies talk. Let the naysayers talk. Just let them talk. All right, because they're always going to have something negative to say. But you got to realize that. But you got to realize, you got to make up in your mind. You see, that's what, my guy and determined is about. When we hear the word determined, it's about making a firm decision and making a firm choice. It's up to us as believers of God, as followers of God, and as prayer warriors, as anointed women of God. We got to make sure that we're going to keep on making a decision, that we're going to keep on staying positive. We're going to keep on staying prayerful. We're going to continue to keep on having faith no matter what. We're going to keep on praying. We're going to keep on focusing on getting our dreams out there, getting our business out there. Okay, we got to keep on making a decision and making a firm choice. All right, that we're going to keep on being the anointed woman of God that God has called me to be, because it reminds me, all right, of story of 3 women in the Bible. All right, the first 2 ladies, I love these 2 ladies because they inspire me, all right, so much. Ruth and Naomi. When Ruth told Naomi, wherever you go, I will go. Your people should be my people. Your God should be my God. Ruth had that type of faith. All right, I call Ruth a woman of faith because she was a woman of faith. All right, she didn't realize that God was using her, all right, to have faith, to encourage Naomi, her sister-in-law, all right, to keep on having faith in spite of what she was going through. All right, but Ruth had that type of faith that if God can bring her out of that situation, he can do the same thing for Naomi. Oh, then let's talk about Hannah. Read 1 Samuel chapter 1. You get the full understanding of the story about that. All right, so Hannah, Peninnah had children, but Hannah couldn't have no children because her womb was shut up. But that did not stop Hannah from getting down on her knees, all right, and pray to God, all right, because she knew that God was going to still birth her, all right, with a son. She knew that God's still going to bless her with a son. All right, if you read the end of 1 Samuel chapter 1, God bless her with a son, all right, named Samuel. So what I'm talking and what I want to encourage you is that do not let no obstacles, do not let no situation, do not let no trials and tribulations that you're going through stop you from having faith in God, stopping you from praying to God, all right, because I'm telling you, God is a miracle worker. He is a way maker. He's a promise keeper. He's your light in the darkness. Don't you know that He's your refuge in a time of trouble? Don't you know that He's your shelter in the time of a storm? Wherever you need, God's got you. All right, God has you in the palm of His hands. All right, yes, it might be tough. Yes, things might get rough. Yes, sometimes trials and tribulations can be overbearing. I know there's some days that the devil, all right, has been messing with you. He's been messing with your mind. He's been messing with your body. He's going to try to cause so much confusion. But I want somebody to look the devil in his face right now. And I want you to tell that devil right now and say, devil, I don't know what you're trying to do, all right, but your evil plans are not working because I serve a God, all right, that sees the best in me. I serve a God that sees the great in me. I serve a God that's going to pull me out of that situation. He's going to pull me out of that circumstance. He's going to bring me out of that sickness and that trauma and that disease. I will not stay stuck, all right, in that negative pit. I will not stay stuck in that situation. I will overcome this. I will be healed from this. I will be delivered from this. So you got to encourage yourself every day that you will make it through this. You got to encourage yourself that this is your winning season. Every morning when you wake up and when you look yourself in the mirror, not to women of God, you got to encourage yourself, all right? You got to keep on speaking positive things over yourself no matter what. You got to encourage yourself that you're beautiful. You got to to encourage you so that you're strong. You got to encourage you so that you are a winner. You got to encourage you so that this is your healing season. You got to encourage you so that this is your season of breakthrough. You got to encourage you so that this is your season, all right, of successful. You got to encourage you so that this is your season of greater things, bigger things, open doors, open opportunities, okay? Because God is shifting you. God is shifting you. God is doing the greatest shift in your life. God is doing something great in your life. God is doing something special in your life. I love that amazing song by Jacqueline Carr that you will win because this is your winning season. You got to decree and declare it that this is your winning season. You will win. You will win. You will win. You will win. I want somebody to put that in the comments. All right, that you are a winner. You're going to win. Put that in the comments that the year of 2021 and also the year of 2022, you will win. You will win. You are a winner. You got to keep on being determined that you will win. And that's exactly what I did. I made a decision. I made a choice that I'm going to keep on speaking positive things over myself. All right, I'm going to keep on speaking positive things over my life. All right, I'm going to keep on speaking positive things. All right, over my life, over my business, over my career, over my activism. All right, so the hashtag Love Yourself campaign is a campaign that I started back in 2019. All right, it's talking about, self-confidence, self-love, self-care, self-empowerment. Yes, we got to keep on spreading, love to ourselves and to each other. All right, but you got to keep on encouraging ourselves. We got to keep on speaking, positive things over ourselves. We got to keep on speaking, positive things over ourselves. We got to make sure that we well physically, spiritually, and mentally. Yes, we got to continue to keep on spreading love to each other. Yes, always. But we got to make sure that we got to keep on spreading love to ourselves. We got to make sure that we are well physically, spiritually, and mentally. We got to keep on speaking positive things over ourselves. We got to make sure that we are well. We got to make sure that we are straight. So if you have some time, take some time off. Take some time off to do you. All right, take some time off. All right, to do something that you want to do. All right, go a day. Have a day, to yourself. If you want to do some meditation, if you want to go out to get some fresh air, take a walk. If you want to have a day, all right, to listen to some music. All right, take some time off to do you. All right, take some time off. Take some time off to make sure that you are well spiritually, physically, and mentally. All right, so that's the reason why. That's the importance of the hashtag Love Yourself campaign. All right, I just want to encourage you to just keep on trusting Him. If God did it for me as a 21-year-old survivor and a 21-year strong person, all right, He can do the same thing for you because, all right, Psalms 121, it says, I will lift up my eyes unto the hills which cover my help. My help comes from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. You got to understand that your help comes from God. All right, Psalms 23, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil because the Lord is with you. All right, the Lord is with you. Yes, you might be facing some dark valleys right now. Yes, you might be facing some mountains that are trying to stop you from reaching the great things that God is doing it for you. All right, but God is going to move those mountains and God is going to bring you out of the dark valleys. All right, new mercies, new beginnings, all right, is about to happen for you. All right, and that's another thing, forgiveness. Yes, I struggle, all right, with forgiveness. Yes, I struggle with forgiveness. Yes, all right, yes, forgiveness was the main thing that I would struggle with. All right, that's what took me so long to accept, to do my Christian journey. It took me a while to join the church. It took me a while, all right, to become a Christian because forgiveness was the main thing I was struggling with, all right, because I was going through so much, mess. I was looking for people to give me love. I was looking for people, to give me encouragement, and support me while I was going through what I was going through, but I wasn't getting that. I was being pushed away so much. I received so much negativity, but I was like saying, why should I forgive? Why should I forgive? Why should I forgive? They hurt me. All right, I needed love, but they choose to push me away instead. So why should I forgive? But I learned this. All right, two things. All right, forgive them for you. Not for them, but for you. And when we hear that term, forgive them for us instead of them, forgive them from us, all right, so we won't be stuck in that negative pit. So we will continue to move forward. So we continue to focus on the great things that God is doing in our lives. So we won't continue to self-blame ourselves for the evil doings that they were doing to us. So we will continue to stay positive. So we continue to be successful, making our dreams and our goals successful. And also another reason, all right, Jesus went to the cross to die for us, all right, to make sure that we are forgiven. forgiven, that our sins are already forgiven. So we are continue to move forward. All right, so we can be saved. All right, so Jesus died for us to forgive, to forgive us. So for us to be forgiven, for our sins to be forgiven. So we should have the faith and the courage to do that for us, to do that to others. But always remember, forgive them for you, not for them, but for you. But for you, so you continue to move forward, so you continue to be successful, so you won't continue to walk around, all right? So you won't continue, all right, so you won't continue to keep on blaming yourself. So you will continue, all right, to stay positive. All right, so just hold on, just be strong. So I want to encourage you is that don't let no obstacles, no struggles, no trials and tribulations, no negative things, all right, stop you from being an anointed woman of God and the successful woman that you are. Just keep on having faith. I'm telling you, God is doing great things. God is doing great things. God, just like God has called me and chosen me, God has called you and chosen you too. Just keep on being focused on being the winner and the beautiful anointed woman of God that God has called you. If God can make a way for me, I know he can do the same thing for you. Miracle, blessed, open is about to happen for you. I'm telling you, God is doing great things in your life. He is. And that's my presentation on tonight. Thank you so much for inviting me to come on and speak. Blessings.
Yes, thank you, my sister. Does anyone have any comments or any questions for Ashley?
Yes, I do.
Appreciate the, I'm sorry,
No, go ahead.
I appreciate the encouragement. It's important that we uplift each other in this thing. So I appreciate the encouragement, and we grow better together. So thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for your bravery, going through mental illness and the challenges that present and the stigma that's behind that. I know it took a lot of faith to get out there and share your message. And so thank you for that, and helping others realize that we all have mental health. Everyone has it, and it's just time that we start the conversation about it. So thank you for opening up the dialogue for that.
I just want to say thank you for sharing your story. It was awesome. Mental health, everything that you went through, actually, the unforgiveness and things like that. And so just thank you for sharing your story, and continue to grow and develop and allow God to use you. So thank you.
Ashley, I just wanted to say thank you so much, because I work in the schools every day, and I work in special education. And so what I see when I'm listening to you is your courage is just reminding me that every single soul that God sends our way as educators is a potential you, Ashley. So Ashley, thank you for your courage, first and foremost, because God is going to use each and every one of our students as he sets his hand upon them. And you're just an example of the courage that it takes to be able to overcome any stigma or anything that society puts on a diagnosis. Secondly, I thank you for your encouragement, because I too recently went and got help for a diagnosis that I have ADHD as a 52-year-old woman. So I'm saying to you, I understand that, we just need to stand and be honest and tell our stories. So thank you so much for telling your story today. When I go to work Monday, it's going to feel so very differently, just because I see you saying, yes, stand up for mental health, because they're young. It starts young, and we need help, and we need courageous believers to stand and tell the truth about being an overcomer. So congratulations to you, and God bless you.
And thank you so much, Ashley. Like everyone else has said, your enthusiasm when you're talking about what God has done for you is so contagious. And I just really appreciate it, because to me, it gives me hope that whatever I'm facing, whether it be the same thing or a different thing, that God can do the same thing for me. It's interesting that you use the word sober, because I've never heard anybody use the word sober when talking about mental health. But it kind of hits home that this really is kind of a process, a deliverance process. So just thank you for your transparency and your enthusiasm in talking about God.
Yes, 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 yes. I put all her platform informations that you can reach her in the chat if any ladies like to copy it. I listen to her on Facebook, so she really can sing. That was what inspired me. I was like, oh yeah, she's definitely got definitely a beautiful gift. God gave her a beautiful voice. So I was like, yeah, I need to hear her speak, because she's definitely has a beautiful voice. So I think you have put just a couple of clips on your Facebook page. So yes, ladies, if y'all think her word is powerful, that voice is something magnificent as well.
Amen. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Ashley? Ashley, how do you I guess from your experience or any advice that you have, what's the best way to be there for somebody, another sister that might be going through the challenges? So I saw somebody post something today, and they were saying sometimes when someone else is going through a crisis, possibly a mental health crisis, the best thing you can do for them is to just be silent. And I don't know, I kind of struggled with that. But what's your advice for sisters who want to help other sisters who might be going through a crisis?
Just pray for them, love them, comfort them. Because especially when we're dealing with times with COVID and now this Delta variant, we got to get together. We need to pray for one another. We got to get together and, just be there for each other. Being silent is not the thing. And that's exactly what I was going through. People were silent. I was going through this mental health illness. People wasn't trying, to love me or care for me. So it took me a while, to find that support system that will love me, for me, that will pray for me, that will support me, that will give me the guidance. So we need to come together. And when somebody's going through a mental health crisis, we need to be there for that person. Or we need to we need to pray for them, because we never know what a person is going through. And especially times like this right now, because COVID last year just affect people's mental health totally. And now we're dealing with this Delta variant. So we got to pray for one another. We got to be there for each other. We got to love one another. We got to speak encouragement words over ourselves, but also to each other as well. We got to uplift to each other instead of tearing, each other down so much. Because of this, we got to uplift each other so much. We got to lift up each other. So that's my advice I would to give people.
So Ash, thank you, Ashley. So what you're saying is, when people being silent, like, I guess from your standpoint, you felt like you were kind of being ignored and was alone, correct?
Yes, a whole lot. Yes.
Yeah, that's
May I
what
add
I
a comment?
was thinking. Yes, please.
Last year, because of the pandemic, one of the organizations that I volunteer with, Girl Track, I became a first aid mental health responder. So Ashley touched on a really great point. You definitely do not want to be silent. I'm pretty sure everyone here, we are women of faith, and yes, we do believe in God, and that's great. However, there are resources. God gave us outside resources. So whether it's calling a nonprofit organization like Girl Track, where you can talk to a trained professional and get that support, or going to a therapist, or just whatever mental health professional, that's okay too, because it takes a system. Sometimes I think as Christians, we just rely 100% God is gonna, and he will, but faith without works is dead. So there's some things we do, and then God just elevates what we do.
Can I ask another question? I'll be having a ton of questions, y'all. I'm sorry. But sorry, not sorry. Actually, so I'm West African, right? My family's from Sierra Leone, and one of the challenges of being African and Christian is everything is very extreme with spirituality, right? So sometimes mental illness, no matter if it's like acute depression or whatever it is demonic. Like it's automatically categorized as demonic. What's your advice for Christians navigating that and just saying, listen, everything's not demons? Like what's your practical advice for navigating that?
Okay, so the Christian journey is not going to be that easy, especially when you become a minister. When you start on the preaching journey, it's not going to be easy to. Yes, like I said earlier, the devil's going to try to do everything that he can, or to mess up our minds, to lose our focus, to cause confusions, go try to put some curses, some negative curses, some negative roadblocks, in our way, or it's going to try to do everything he can to mess up the focus and try to make us lose focus on God, or he's going to try to do everything that he can, all right, to just mess up the great things that God is doing for us. All right, but it's up to us, like I said earlier, it's that we got to keep on focusing on, all right, being positive, got to keep on focusing on staying focused. We got to keep on being focused, all right, to keep on putting our ministry out there and just keep on focused on having faith and keep on praying, all right, because it's not always that easy. It's not always that easy, but if we just keep on speaking positive things over ourselves and just keep on being focused and just keep on, focusing on, keep on getting our business out there, keep on getting our ministries out there, all right, and just keep on focusing on seeking God first and everything that we do, all right, it's going to be all right. It's going to be okay. It's not always that easy. It took me a while to overcome this battle because look how much struggle that I had to go through. Look how much it was a process for me because it took me, to start having faith in God and praying to God. It took me joining the church already to start on this Christian journey. It took, music. It took, reading the Bible every day. Already took, reading scriptures. It took me, singing in the church and, keep on being active in the church and, give my life to God and also fasting. It took, praying, to realize that I need to focusing on staying positive and just keep on having faith and keep on praying. So we just got to keep on speaking positive things and just ignore what the negative comments and the negative words, have to say. And just keep on focusing on, being the anointed woman of God that God has called, for us to be. Because that was my issue. That's how my battle became more worse. Because I'm so busy paying attention to the negative drama, keep on paying attention to the comments and doing things for the bullies and naysayers' approval instead of doing things, for God's approval. All right, so we got to keep on focusing on doing things for God's approval. All right, we got to understand that God is an on-time God. It says that he may not come, just like that song says, he may not come when we want him, but he'll be here on time. So we got to keep on staying patient, keep on having faith, keep on doing the two-piece, positive, prayerful. All right, and just keep on focusing on doing things for God's approval, seeking God. All right, just keep on focusing on staying positive and just keep on being focused.
Go ahead, Mary.
So I just want to piggyback on, some things that Ashley said as well as Cassandra, and what just resonated in my spirit when it comes down to mental health, especially with women. I would say that from a woman's standpoint, in our mind, some of us are still in the mindset of we cannot trust another woman, especially if you're trying to get help. So when it pertains to mental health, back in the old days, I would say we was put against one another. If you're light-skinned, back in slavery days, if you're light-skinned, you can work in a house. If you're not light-skinned, then you work in a yard. And what we need to understand is we are all the body of Christ. And I need my sister, whatever you're going through, I may be able to help you, and versus gossiping about what somebody is experiencing. And that's what tends to happen in our community a lot, versus trying to help a person and showing them love. Some people tend to flock to gossip about others. So I think that you have to build that relationship with that person and also show them that you genuinely love them. And what I try to do is, I said, God, I'm not into making friends by myself. I want you to show me who you have for me. That way I'm protecting me, because I can't go out here and make friends on myself, because I've learned, I'm sure you all learned before, that if we go out here and make friends, it may not be the friendship that God will have us to have. And then we learn down the road that something we entrusted with them may have been shared with someone that has been in confidence. So I think that's another reason why, especially with women, we suffer in silence, because we're like, who can we trust? Can we trust anybody around us? And are they being that perfect example? And what I try to say is, if that person is sharing something that someone else shared to them in confidence, then that's a clear indicator that you cannot share something as personal and close about yourself, because you know it may be repeated down the road. So we just have to know that God called us to love one another, and we all make up the body. I may be the eyes, you may be the ear or the leg, but we all need each other.
Can I, two parts now, because Mary spoke up, but I wanted to, and thank you, Ashley, for what the question was directed to you, for what you imparted. But Andrina mentioned like the stigma in the African culture and just in general, right, with Christians sometimes, that we're over super spiritual, right? Everything's the enemy. If you're sick, it's because you did something, and you know, now you're cursed. And so to that point, I wanted to just say that self-awareness and mindfulness is important, in that everything isn't the devil, right? We are, sometimes it's the, my pastor says like the enemy, it's not always the enemy, it's the inner me. And that I think to combat that, just to be mindful that everything isn't the enemy, and bring self-awareness and mindfulness to what we do and what part we may play. And sometimes in this life, we will have many trouble. It's not the enemy, it's this life that we're in. It's because we're born in this world, right? And things happen. It's not always, most of the time, really. There is self-accountability, but like mental illness is not because you did something wrong, right? And mental illness is because we're unfortunately no longer in the Garden of Eden, right? So we know that to be true. And that self-awareness and mindfulness will help, I think, understanding that, okay, this is something God trusted me with. That's how I look at I have anxiety, I have ADHD, right? I've been through some things, and I'm like, okay, this is something God allowed because he trusted that I could get through it, right? Because the Bible says he won't give us more than we can bear. So that helps me to, okay, what do I have to do, right? What part do I have to play to get through this? And I know that I can get through it because God has allowed it. Not that he did it, just like the pandemic, right? Oh, people are questioning like, well, where is God? Why? You know, if there was a God, why would this be happening? Well, he's allowed it, but he's trusted his people to be able to get through it. And so just like Job, right? The devil can't do anything to us without God allowing it. And he said, have you considered my servant Job, right? Because he trusted. Job is not like his wife said, gonna curse me. He's going to survive, and he gave him double for his trouble. So I remember that when things are happening, it's not well, God, why are you doing this to me? It's a count of all joy, right? He's allowed this to happen because this is part of my story that's going to be a testimony that's going to help someone else, because to Mary's point, we are one body, right? So that this is look for the lesson. Like that's what I have a new book, yeah. That's what I write in the book, right? Look for the lesson. Look for what am I supposed to get from this in this season, and how can I help someone else? You talked about friends, Mary, and that's the last part I wanted to say is I talk about cultivating your circle a lot, and the fact that everybody that comes, look for the people assigned to you, basically. Look for the people assigned to you that cross your paths, practice compassion and empathy, and maybe, right, you can't share your deepest, darkest secrets with that person because you know they're going to tell, but it doesn't mean you have to X them out of your life. You just have to cultivate that relationship to know maybe that person has crossed your path because there's something you're supposed to impart to them. So yeah, that's all. I'm talking a lot. All righty.
No, that was so good, Jamie. And one of the things that I think about a lot is like even how we see mental illness in the Bible, like like how it talks about Jeremiah, I think being the weeping prophet, and it's like showing signs of depression, and Elijah being suicidal at times. And one of the things I've come to believe is I think whether you're diagnosed with like a chronic mental illness or not, I think at some point all of us will go through something mental illness related. And so I hate that stigma. And I think for me, the cultural piece sometimes is that war with like the faith piece when trying to engage other people in conversation about mental illness, because it's not exempt. And there's so many things that I think in the body as women, we unnecessarily suffer from because we're not practical about some stuff. So for example, if you see a mom who battled some illness, there's a chance that it could be hereditary. But because we don't want to talk about the that being a realistic option, we just are like, no, casting down things until we're repeating the same things that family member does. And then we're shocked. And then we're casting out demons. But it's like, no, the signs were there 10 years ago. And, if we had just sat down and talked with a therapist, perhaps it wouldn't have gone this far. And the last thing I'll say is I got a news notification the other day about an increase in murder suicides. And they were saying that one of the things that they expect to see is just a hike in like mental illness breakdowns. And this is kind of a symptom of that as a result of the pandemic. So even if you weren't struggling with stuff before, just being quarantined and all that stuff is starting to have these effects on people. So again, Ashley, I just appreciate you being bold and talking about it, because so many times we're scared. We don't talk about it in the pulpit. We don't talk about it amongst each other. We don't want to be stigmatized. We don't want to be shamed. And it's just hard, but it's a very real part of almost all of our lives. At some point it will be, or might have been.
Yeah, in some way, shape, or form, I agree. We all, it's the delicacy of our minds, really. It only takes a little, right, for that chemical shift, whether it's every 28 days with PMS, right? There's something, our bodies are delicate, right? And you're wondering why. So again, the self-awareness and mindfulness helps. And I brought up PMS, so quick story, but it's because you remember Pearl and Gina, right? My sister helped me to be aware of it, but now she's 18 years older. But she made a comment to my mom one time and said, every time I'm on my period, these kids act up. And my mom was like, it's not the kids acting up, it's your period. Like, it's not, they're the same all the time. It's your patience, right? Is less when you're on your period. And it was like a light bulb for her. And because I heard that story, I was more mindful when when I was PMSing and raising my kids, like, okay, why don't y'all go to the playroom, right? Like, it's not anything more. They're the same rambunctious kids they are. It's me. So that, again, self-awareness and mindfulness will help. And that, we're talking about mental illness, like, that's just a shift in our hormones. That happens, and you have to be mindful. Like, are you a little more snappy? Are you a little more, weepy this week? And so something as little as that, it happens, and it's okay. Be mindful, be sympathetic, be empathetic, right? My husband knows I'm like, babe, like, the remote is clicking extra loud this time because, like, and I know it's me, but I'm over there like, oh, so, but talk about those things. You said that, right? We don't talk about it. Talk about those things and like, okay, right? And it'll help that next mom maybe that's PMSing, like, okay, wait a minute, right? All right, like my daughter, I've told her from that story, times 10. And so it helped her a lot through high school. And when she first started, like, okay, like, put it in perspective. Why is the day so bad? And why is everything so much? Right, I'm on my period, like, everything's times 10. And it helped her to, like, okay, just make it to next week, right? Like, it's probably not me and my husband. No, there's no arguments. There's no, we got to talk, nothing when I'm on my period, because it probably won't bother me next week. But I have to, I have to be like, if it still bothers me next week, okay. But anyway, Hope that helps someone.
That's so good. I just got this, and I don't mean to make this conversational, but the last thing I'll say is I just got this app called Flow, and it literally will tell you your hormones are acting up today. And so one morning I woke up and I was just as grumpy as ever. And then the notification came on, I think around 10 something, and it says, this is why you're angry. And I was like, oh, okay. So if you don't have that app, Flow, it'll save you some arguments.
Interesting. So how does the app actually work? How does it know you're in this bad, grumpy mood?
So it just tracks your cycle dates and you input them. Yeah, and it'll tell you ovulation, it'll tell you hormonally what's going on, if you're craving foods, it'll tell you about that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it takes a couple of months for it to kind of figure you out, I guess. But you just input the dates in to the app.
Interesting.
Yeah, really helpful.
The technology
Stephanie,
now, I had to learn it on my own.
Stephanie, I know you were going to say something earlier. Did you want to share anything?
I had a question actually for Ashley. I just wondered I kept hearing the word bully. I wondered if bullying was something you experienced as a young person as well as during adulthood, or if it was just when you were younger, and if so, what would you say to us if you've experienced it as adults? Like, what kinds of things are we not aware of that we do that are bullying someone who has mental health issues?
Well, I was going through this mental health illness battle since I was like a young girl. So I was bullied every day. I was teased every day. All right. I was receiving so many negative comments. And so as I mentioned earlier, got me, to rebel a little bit. I ended up in a relationship, all right, at a very young age, at the age of 12, and, and everything. And, I got rejected a lot. I've been talked about. So me going through that, it caused me, to struggle with self-confidence. It caused me to struggle with self-love. It caused me, to struggle, with self-confidence. I was doing things just to please the bullies and naysayers a whole lot. I was doing everything, to fit, in the crowd. And so, but I realized that, it was my senior year of high school when I said, enough is enough. I am tired of fighting with people. I'm tired of trying to change everything about me. And, especially me joining this Christian journey and giving my life to Christ. I was like, my senior year says, this is it, no more. All right, I'm going to learn, and I made a decision. I'm going to learn how to love me, to love Ashley. All right, to focus on, Ashley for Ashley, and focusing on, loving Ashley. All right, and keep her focused on being the best Ashley, and keep her focusing on, knowing my worth, and, accept me and who Ashley is as a human being and as a woman and as a anointed woman of God. Because, back in 2019, here's another thing. I created this alter ego, named Ashlina. All right, I created this alter ego named Ashlina. It was a singing stage name that I created because this is where I put out my first album, Vibes, Expressions, and Feelings Through Music. I have 3 albums out already, and I think 17 singles, including this new one that I just released. And so I decided, since, developing more and as an artist and developing more as a singer and as a musician and as an entertainer. So I'm going to, celebrate that, by creating a singing stage name. So I'm going to create a singing stage name. So that's how Ashlina came up. And it's like, but I realized that the main reason why I created a singing stage name, because since I was going through so much negativity, I was so afraid to show the world how Ashley, all right, has developed more into a singer, as a songwriter, as a solo music artist. All right, I decided I'm going to do that by be under a singing stage named Ashlina. But, a special someone had told me, and I always get emotional, all right, about this, but a special someone told me that you can be successful by being yourself. You can be successful by being yourself. And ever since that, someone just told me that, I never, ever in my whole entire life felt good about myself. I never, ever, felt so confident with Ashley. And so last year, I closed that chapter of Ashley for good. And now with this brand new music single, Girl to Woman, all right, I can show the world how Ashley is developing, all right, as a singer and as a songwriter and developing more as a musician. And so I made a decision my senior year. I said, that's it, no more doing things for people's approval. I'm going to focus on doing things for God's approval. And on this year, I'm doing exactly that. So that's
Awesome. Amen. Amen. All right. Does anybody else have any comments or questions?
Thank you, Ashley.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Well, does anyone have any Andrina, you want to finish elaborating and sharing with I know you said you had a surprise for later, because I know a lot of the ladies have left us.
Oh, I know. We usually have a bigger crowd than this, but yeah, so what I wanted to share was just this week, we got into a partnership with Flavor Fest. So it's kind of a Essence Fest for Christians. So I'm just going to show their promo. And what they've done is that they have allotted us a certain number of tickets. And so if anybody is interested, it's in Tampa, Florida. So if you got to get away, I know, Mary, we talked about your birthday, but it's in October, October 7th. I'm just going to go ahead and play the promo. And if anybody's interested, just contact us. Because through this partnership, they are allowing us to be able to gift these to some people to be able to participate, especially for those who are like, I just need to get out of the house right now. And perhaps it can be a fun trip. Some of the speakers that they have lined up include Eric Mason, The Truth, KB, and I'll let you all see it for yourselves.
Awesome.
Yeah, so if anybody's interested in going, again, they have gifted us some tickets that we can share through this partnership.
Now, is McQueen going to have a booth or anything set up there?
Yeah, I was running with the sorry. Yeah, so McQueen is going to have a table set up there, but only on a Saturday.
Okay.
Not for the entire weekend. Yep. So okay. if you happen to attend, stop by. We'd love to say hi. But here's the promo from their website. I was running with the set, yeah. Running with the set, yeah. Yeah. We don't never flex, we just rep. Hear me? No. What did you expect? I don't need respect. I'm the threat. Tell them I'm so free. I got no chains on me. I'm so free. I got no chains on me. Nappy hair, no shame on me. I'm so free. I got no chains on me. I'm so free. I got no chains on me. I'm so free. I got no chains on me. I'm so free. I got no chains on me. I'm so free. I got no chip running through the right back where I started with it. Yep, so really short, but we'll be running some campaigns to give away a few tickets, and then of course to promote the festival is called Flavor Fest. Website is in the chat. But I figured I'll just, since you all are here, just as a thank you, if anybody's interested in going, contact us, and you just get first dibs on those. That was the surprise.
And you said what's the dates again?
It's October 7th through the 11th. And these tickets will allow you to be able to attend. So all day there are workshops. There are workshops on church planting, entrepreneurship, business, evangelizing, just faith walk, relationships. And then at night, every night there are concerts. And if you go to the website, you'll be able to see all of the speakers and all of the artists. So these tickets will give you access to the entire conference. So if you want to make it a family trip, you know, let me know and we'll get those tickets to you. So they were very, very generous. They should call it Favor Fest.
Yeah, you said flavor, and I was like, when you initially said it, I was thinking like food, like a whole bunch of food. I'm greedy, but yeah.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I love to eat too. And also, ladies, Ashley just put her website on the chat as well if you want to catch that. All right. Well, looks like we might have an early night tonight. Does any of you ladies have a prayer request?
No, I do have a question.
Okay.
Will there be an opportunity for us to learn about one another.
Oh
'Cause
yeah, oh
I'm
yeah.
new
Okay,
and
I'm
I
so
don't
quick to
know.
be wrapping
Well, I
this up.
know Andrea from last month going to the conference, and I remember you, Chandra, but everyone else